Hi, today's devotional is on being a light in the workplace. Now, before you switch off because you don't think this applies to you, because you don't find yourself in the context of the workplace, the scriptures which we're going to be looking at today are ones which apply to all of us as believers. And I believe that as Christians, that there's truths in these scriptures which we all can live out. And so, even though we're going to be discussing it from the context of the workplace, I believe that it applies to anybody, wherever you find yourself, whatever sphere of influence you might find yourself in. And so the verse which we're going to be looking at today is from Matthew 5, verses 14 to 16, really well known piece of scripture, and it reads like this. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it underneath a basket, but they put it on a stand and it gives light to all the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they might see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. First point is this, is that you are the light of the world. That's what verse 14 says. And what does this actually mean? Is that in the context of the workplace, is that I'm not just bringing my skills and my talents and whatever is put on your CV. You're not just bringing that to the workplace, but you are the primary vehicle which Jesus is using to bring light into a darkened world. You are the vehicle which God is using to bring life and hope into a world without hope, into a world without life, right? And so that means that within context of the workplace, it changes the way that we interact with our co-workers, right? Because no, we're not just there for the job, but we're there to bring light, and we're there to bring life, and we're there to bring hope. This is the vehicle that we have, this treasure within us, which God expects us to share and to share publicly. And that brings me into point two, right? The analogies which I use are sitting on a hill. No one lights a lamp and puts it underneath a basket, right? Point two is this, is that Jesus has not called us to live our faith privately. And I know when we get to work, we can kind of put things in their own separate compartments, and this is my private life, and this is my work life, and this is my family life, and this is my church life. But this scripture says, no, you are sitting on a hill, you are a light put on a stand, right? We are not called to live our faith privately, right? We do not leave our faith at home, go to work from 9 to 5, come back home, and then express and exercise our faith only when we get back from work. Right? But God has called us to exercise our faith even at work, to exercise our faith publicly. And so what does this also mean? It means that when we interact with people, that we must be ready to share the gospel with those who don't know him, right? And in our work spheres, that we must be ready to share testimonies. We must be ready to give an answer for this hope and this joy and this peace which we have within us, which comes from Jesus. We must be ready to be able to share the gospel within the context of our workplace. And verse 15 goes on and says, so that many may see your good works, right? And within the workplace context, I think that the amount of times that I speak at work is probably 45 minutes. I'm a bookkeeper, and the interactions which I have with my colleagues, to be honest with you, I think that they'll probably only hear me speak about 30 minutes, 45 minutes within the day. But I promise you that throughout the whole day, somebody's watching you. Somebody's watching your actions. So if you have an opportunity to express love via your words or your actions, I think use your actions. I think, especially in the workplace context, that people are watching what we do, right? And so we must use our actions. We must live out our faith, right? And it must be one done in action, but not only in word, but the way that we live and the way that we conduct ourselves in the workplace is vital to being a light in the workplace. And then verse 13, we didn't read it, but it's the last point, is that don't lose our saltiness, right? In verse 13, it talks about being the salt and not losing your saltiness, right? I think it's very easy for us to go into the workplace and it just becomes a place where we just collect our paycheck and we just, go through the motions of it, and that we're not just there just to go through the motions and collect our paychecks, because that can cause us to lose our saltiness because we forget that the primary reason why we're there is to be a light and to bring life and to bring hope.